Once again, we find ourselves at the end of a Let's Play. Pokemon Platinum has spread from October to February, and in that time span, lots of things have happened. Some good, some bad. A new year has started, and I saw my birthday. For me, this Let's Play was very different, especially compared to my last Pokemon Let's Play, Gale of Darkness, which wrapped up around the same time last year, actually. For Pokemon Platinum, I actually put thought into what my game plan was. In Gale of Darkness, I just threw together whatever team seemed to make the most sense at the time, but with what I found along the way. But here in Platinum, I knew I wanted to make a team and stick with that team. So I'd like to recount to you my rough thought process as to how that went down. So my first thought was I absolutely did not want to take up a team spot with an HM slave, which meant that most, if not all, of my Pokemon needed to be able to use TMs. So, obviously, I started with the starter, as you do. And Empoleon is far and away my favorite starter. No ifs, ands, or buts. This actually made my team building a lot easier, since Empoleon can learn both Surf and Waterfall, and Empoleon makes great use of those moves, especially Surf. So, and obviously, for every game with an HM, you need a flyer. And when you're talking flyers, obviously you're talking Staraptor in Gen 4. So, I had my two first Mons already squared away. I looked at them, and there's an obvious first problem: electric types. So, I looked to the ground type to see what was available, and I wasn't thrilled with any of the options, so I went with the next best thing, grass type. And since you get Badoo so early in the game, I thought, yeah, sure, I can run a Rose Raid. That sounds fine. So the next major issue was that I had little way of dealing with flying types with the team I had planned out. Because at this stage, I hadn't really thought about what moves I was going to be giving everyone. I had thought I was giving Empoleon Grass Knot, but that changed. But anyway, so I had Empoleon, Staraptor, and Rose Raid. And I thought I needed something to help deal with flying types. So I went to Jolteon. But obviously with the Jolteon inclusion, there was this mild problem with ground types, but I thought Rose Raid would be fine because at the time I thought Energy Ball was not post-game. I thought I'd just teach Rose Raid Energy Ball and everything would be hunky-dory. But that ended up not panning out. But anyway, with the core 4 of Empoleon, Staraptor, Rose Raid, and Jolteon, I thought to myself, one, I don't have a great answer to ice types, and two, my team is pretty heavy on the special side. So, how do you beat ice types? Well, obviously Empoleon could tank most ice types for days and dish out damage with a flash cannon, but one answer I didn't like that. So I thought about it. Rock types were not on the table. I mean, what rock types are there? There's Rhyperior, which is a trade evolution, so out. Golem, also trade evolution, was out. Steelix might have been an option, but trade evolution, which is out. So there wasn't much in the way. Probobass would have been doubling down on a ground weakness, which I was a fan, which is also why I didn't choose rock, because rock is weak to ground. That would have not been fun. So I thought about it, and it's like, well, then comes the fighting type to deal with the ice types. And the best fighting type I could think of was Gallade, because it also comes with Psychic type, which helps my team against poison types. Because my only decent answer to poison types was Jolteon, who would be dealing with Crobats, or with the Zubat line. But any other poison types, like Stuntank, well, not Stuntank. Stuntank is a bad example because Stuntank is part Dark type, with Snuff's Psychic type anyway. But anyway, I went with Gallade because A, it's a physical attacker, and it's got a good stab combination for what I needed. Of course, I wouldn't realize until later that Gallade doesn't get close combat until level 53. But I'm glad I had Cloud anyway, because his coverage was quite useful. So I was sitting at the team looking at, I had Empoleon, a Staraptor, a Roserade, a Gallade, and a Jolteon. I needed someone to fill out the roster. Now, who would that be? I looked at my team, and there was still a major issue with ground types. And more to the point, my team was lacking some coverage. Specifically, we didn't have any good answers to Psychic types. Of course, at first I thought to remedy this by teaching Jolteon Shadow Ball, but that was not a great idea, because Shadow Ball comes relatively late in the game. So I thought to get something that naturally learns a Dark type move and is a powerful mon in its own right. And then I remembered there is one ground type that fits the bill. It gets Crunch, and it's got Earthquake learning ability. Garchomp. It was Garchomp. So I looked at the team. Empoleon, Staraptor, Roserade, Garchomp, Gallade, Jolteon. And then I realized something. The team still had a pretty bad weakness to ice. Like, I could, for my ground type, I could have gone with a Mamoswine, but you get Mamoswine so late in the game that it was not an appealing option. Another thing that I was considering during my team building was I want my team to be put together as soon as possible. I want to have the members, if not the moves necessarily. So, which is also why Hippowdon didn't get on the team as my ground type. Because you don't get Hippopotas until after Maylene's gym. So, with this ice type weakness, I mean, obviously, Empoleon Flash Cannon to deal with it. Staraptor had Close Combat to deal with them. Garchomp wouldn't learn Stone Edge or Rock Slide until near the end of the game. And Gallade wouldn't learn any fighting type moves until Close Combat. And Jolteon obviously had no particularly useful answers to Ice types either. So I realized that by the time I got to Candace, by the time I got to Candace, I wouldn't have particularly great answers to Ice type. So I looked my team back over, and I realized that Jolteon wasn't really doing much for the team. Like, Jolteon's job was to deal with flying types, essentially. But Empoleon could learn Ice Beam, I realized. And Garchomp was getting a rock type move sooner or later. So I decided I could forego the flying type coverage in exchange for something else. So I looked at my team again and thought, what would my team struggle against? Then it hit me. Something like Bronzong. My team doesn't have a good answer for Bronzong because it's neutral to fighting, and all the Bronzors and Bronzongs you fight in the game have Levitate, which means Garchomp isn't going to be able to Earthquake them. So the natural solution from that would be a Fire type. But as you may know, Fire types aren't exactly the most plentiful type in Sinnoh. So I tried to think. So I didn't have exactly the biggest move pool, or the biggest candidate pool. And of those available, obviously I wasn't going to give up Empoleon for Infernape. And Magmortar was too slow. Rapidash didn't hit hard enough. So the only other feasible option was a Houndoom. And then I realized bringing a Houndoom along also gives me Dark type coverage that I need for Psychic types. And also, Fire type would be useful against those Steel types with sky-high defenses like Steelix, who might not be as fearful of an Earthquake or a pitiful little Drain Punch coming from Gallade as I might have feared. So, and throughout this whole decision-making process, I was also comparing move sets, changing who learns what, and so on. Like at one point, as some of you may remember, at one point I was convinced Staraptor got Strength, and that kind of threw my calculations off pretty wildly. And another reason Hippowdon didn't get on the list or Mamoswine. What was it? It was Mamoswine was the one who didn't get Rockline, right? What was the... I know one of the ground types didn't get... Just a second. Bulbapedia, save me. Okay, it was... Mamoswine got Rockline, but Hippowdon did not. So, another aspect of me choosing Garchomp was that I needed a Rock Climber. Because while Empoleon does get rock climb, at that point, Empoleon would have had 3 HMs and would have been basically an HM slave in name, or an HM slave in everything but name. And I was very much opposed to this outcome. So I ended up with this team, and even as you saw, I made certain move adaptations on the fly. But I had a plan from the beginning of what I wanted my team to be. And I even did a test run of my original team with Jolteon. Found it to be lacking, especially since Jolteon doesn't get Thunderbolt naturally. So I learned a lot of things from that test run I did. And it really helped me put together what ended up being my final team. And it was interesting to know that I had a plan and how to execute it. Even if certain details ended up getting muddied, like the fact that my Pokemon ended in their early 50s to high 40s instead of their mid 60s like I had projected. That was a that was me being a dummy. But anyway, I enjoyed our time playing Platinum, even if it was the most blurst run I have ever seen in my life. Just crits flying everywhere. It's hilarious. And misses. Oh, the misses that shouldn't have missed, and losing my mind on the fog route. Oh, mercy. But it was fun. And apparently the channel's started to grow during Platinum, and that is exciting. People are commenting. People are watching the videos. Like 9 views on one of my videos? That's more than I could have hoped for realistically. And people are leaving likes, and it's amazing. And I hope the channel continues to grow as we head into our next Let's Play. Which means, of course, it's time to announce what I'm playing for my next Let's Play. So, given my history, given I played Sly 1 as my first game on the channel. And then the second game I played was Kingdom Hearts 1. And I'm sure you can probably see where I'm going with this. Yes, ladies, gentlemen, and others, the next Let's Play on this channel will be Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. So, I hope to see all of you there. And I am grateful to know that, hey, someone's watching me make an absolute fool of myself. So, yeah. I think that basically wraps it up. Like, this was certainly the smoothest of my Let's Plays. No technical problems. No, like, recording issue. Like, it was pretty smooth sailing, I've got to say. So, yeah. next time you hear from me, it will be the very first episode of Kingdom Hearts Rechain of Memories on the with the PS4 collection, obviously. So, and lest you worry, I have no idea how I'm going to build my deck. I've never, in all my years of playing Chain of Memories and Rechain of Memories, I've still failed to wrap my head around how to build a good deck. So, oh well. I'm just your everyday idiot. But until then, remember to like, comment, subscribe, ring the little ding bell. And if you'd be so kind, get off my lawn, you filthy casuals.